All right, first things first, then hospitality, tourism all set to get a big booster shot on the back of the Ram Mandir in Ayodhya. And one such entrepreneur who was actually present was Ritesh Agarwal of Oyo Rooms. So let's connect with him to understand the opportunity that presents for Oyo as well as for domestic tourism at large. Ritesh Agarwal is the founder and group CEO at Oyo Rooms and now joins us on the show. Good to have you on board, Ritesh. To begin with, given that we have seen a massive surge in spiritual tourism, which not only signifies the growing interest in our sacred sites, but also underscores Ayodhya's newfound prominence on the global spiritual map. How have you read into this?
I think, look, spiritual tourism is on an absolute rise. We have been seeing this for last few years, so it's not happened overnight. You may remember a year and a half back, one of my or our company's updates that got viral was that on 31st December last year, we had more bookings in Banaras than that of Goa. Similarly, this year, New Year's, Ayodhya saw a massive surge, and my sense is, given the pran pratishtha of this magnificent temple, I think that I assume at least a 10x increase in terms of spiritual tourism growth here in Ayodhya going forward.
So you were there, you were present at the event. How is Oyo really looking to capitalize on this opportunity in terms of demand, occupancies, queries and questions? How many properties are you looking to open in Ayodhya?
Absolutely. Look, I think we have seen some incredible stats across matrix in not just Ayodhya, but the national spiritual tourism context. I think we have already opened 65 properties in Ayodhya, and we intend to open probably a couple of hundred more over the next couple of years. So I think we are rapidly investing to grow our infrastructure in Ayodhya, but also nationally in almost all the key religious destinations. I think the consumer queries are up in like multiples, which are incredible. On the New Year's, which was 21 days behind us, I think the jump in searches for Ayodhya was 80%. Now, I think the latest, what I'm seeing for the last couple of days is almost close to 8 to 10x. So I think we are seeing a rapid growth. But, part of this is also because Ayodhya is becoming a newfound destination, which is becoming very popular. And I think this year, I was on a flight, I was at the flight coming from Puri. Went to Bhubaneswar, took a flight to Kolkata, and then came to Lucknow. Literally in every flight, whoever I was sitting next to had plans to come out to Ayodhya probably in a week, in a month, in 2 months. So I think, I hope that all of them end up staying at hotels in Ayodhya, including that of ours.
Right, and I want to understand from you as well as to what are the new interesting travel trends, in particular with a highlight and spotlight on domestic tourism for the year ahead.
Look, I think there are probably three big ones. The first one is, like we're discussing today about spiritual tourism. I think whenever I travel to a lot of spiritual destinations myself, I was in Puri yesterday. I was a few weeks back near in Vrindavan, Mathura. When I meet our hotel teams, one of the things they often tell me is that the average age profile of the customers who are visiting for religious destinations is actually dropping, which means that young people are wanting to try and go to spiritual destinations because, it's a unique thing where we are able to combine faith with sort of just a sense of peace. And hence we see that there is a lot of travel demand surge in the spiritual destinations. And it also, of course, is timely given the consecration of Ram Lalaji's temple in Ayodhya. Second big trend is this is a year of long weekends. There are many long weekends this year. I think anyone from the corporate employees listening to me will know what I'm talking about. I think long weekends get made to be even longer sometimes. So I think that's a trend that we see that will continue to become stronger and stronger. And the third one, and this is something that I believe is probably one of the most exciting trends, is new locations will start getting explored. So instead of people going to Shimla, they are asking, can we go to Naldehra, which is a small town, which is a drive away from there. So I think we're increasingly seeing consumers wanting to explore not just the main core tourist spot, but places around which are new and upcoming destinations. which I think is great for the economies of these other smaller towns nearby as well.
Right, and given that we've seen a flurry of companies hit the street, a lot of entrepreneurs coming up with their fundraising plans as well as business ideas, what is your advice to entrepreneurs, to young startups?
Look, I think I have probably just two things to share. The first one is India is in a place today where probably we are the bright spot among any other major economy around the world. No matter which part of the world I go to, people want to talk about India, people want to invest in India, and people want to see how they can be a part of the great India story that's getting set up. So if today is the time when you pursue, if today is the time you pursue entrepreneurship, I think you're best set for success. And the second is that the respect for first generation entrepreneurs is incredible. I think for something like the consecration of Ramlalaji's temple tomorrow, I think earlier only the few who would have built businesses for many years would be the ones invited. But in today's generation, you could be somebody from a small town in Odisha, work hard, build a good enterprise, make a positive difference, and you would also be a part of opportunities which are multi-decadal important event happening in our country. So my perspective is that in today's age, there is success probability is far higher given Indian economy, and the respect that entrepreneurs, startups, and founders get is an incredibly different time. So the time to start is now. That's what I would say.
And would you say that we're completely out of the woods when it comes to this funding winter? And what's the year ahead holding for the startup ecosystem, Ritesh?
Yeah, look, I think that's an important question. Naturally, the fundings in the startup sector had come down last year. But, I think in my view, that has you mentioned also has made every startup stronger. I think our company's earnings have dramatically improved over the years, partly out of just continued improvement and travel recovery after COVID, but partly also about constantly focusing on making sure that we improve our financials, deliver good results, and just recognize that there is a long journey ahead of us. So my sense is that's not just true for us. I think if you look at earnings of almost every startup, now is the time when you're seeing all the MCA filings results come up. Almost every startup's earnings I see, their losses have either reduced or they have converted their losses into turning profitable. So my sense is that's a directional shift. The second, I am seeing that in the early to mid stage, the startup investment activity has picked up substantially. So I think that this year has already started much stronger in the early to mid stage perspective. I believe that it will very soon translate to the late stage, especially as you see from a macro perspective. Fed has given a much more dovish stance. Markets are, of course, pricing in a lot more cuts than I think there would be. But I think either ways, it is a direction in which the interest costs will come down, and hence there will be more appetite, macro directions also into the startup industry, combined with great earnings that the companies have delivered. I think we are set for a fairly healthy financing years coming up, including this year.